The Ottawa Senators are back in the Eastern Conference Final. This Final Four, the stage is certainly set for an interesting Stanley Cup Final. Regardless of the result, we take on Carolina. It's Edmonton and Vegas on the other side. If we were to advance, it's an all-Canadian final, or we take on Alexis Lafreniere in the final. And of course, if Carolina advances, it could be an 0-6 rematch against Edmonton, or a very interesting matchup against Vegas nonetheless. We've done well so far to make it to this point. I don't think at times that I thought we would make it to this point with some of the competition that we've had, but we made it past Toronto in 5, we made it past Tampa in 5. This team, despite some underperforming players, despite some injuries, it's found a way to get the job done so far, but are we going to run out of steam is the question. We've seen it happen too many times. The big news for this episode at the start is that Taylor Hall is back from injury. Point per game before he picked up an injury and missed the entirety of the Tampa series. So excited to have him back. I have reworked the lines a little bit because of that, and we're rolling with the players who have performed the best on the highest line. So obviously Shane Pinto, a phenomenal series against Tampa. He's up to the top line with Nico Hischier and Matthew Tkachuk. And we talked about this a lot heading into the playoffs. But, the addition of Nico after just cutting ties with Cody Glass, who really isn't who I wanted, but again, we had to move Lafreniere. Cody Glass only sticks around for half the season. We bring in Nico Hischier instead, and he has lived up to expectations. He's been fantastic. So, I thought at a time, it's like, okay, this is Lafreniere's team. Okay, maybe Cody Glass can do it now. This might be Nico's team. Things can change at a moment's notice. Anytime you think you have a set path carved out for a team, things can change, and sometimes for the better, if Nico's anything to go off of. And then Matthew Tkachuk. We talked about it. Would the Tkachuks be here beyond this season? And I think this postseason performance from Matthew Tkachuk, and Brady for that matter, shows that while they might not be a perfect fit for this team and we might need a head coach change after this season, that contract for Tkachuk is very solid. And if he's going to perform like that, he has a spot on this team. Brady as well, 7 points in 10 games is a bit expiring deal at the end of next season. So, but I think at the very least with this performance in the playoffs that the Tkachuk brothers have certainly earned themselves a spot in Ottawa, and tearing down this team as much as I thought I might have to might not be the plan anymore. So we'll see what happens. Logan Brown as well, someone who I thought we might have to get rid of. He is on an expiring contract, but it's tough to say we should get rid of him. He is a very strong middle six option for this team. And then, of course, again, Taylor Hall back in the lineup. Third line, Drake Batherson continues to be such an amazing part of this team, an integral part of this team in the bottom six. Performs no matter where we put him. We're putting him into a more offensive role on the third line alongside Richard Pilar, who, good God, this guy stepped up out of nowhere, taking over for Formanton. And then Max Pacioretty with the 5 points in 10 games. Not too bad. Fourth line, here are the guys who might be working themselves out of Ottawa. Colin White, 1 year left on his deal, has 1 point in 8 games. I don't know if Colin White's sticking around. You look, 2 seasons ago now, really 3 regular seasons ago now, some great numbers through the first couple of years, but lately it's dropped off a bit to where it's like, okay, the 41 points, it's really good for like a high-end third liner, but really low for a second liner. 55 is, pretty good for a second liner, a little bit low. So it's concerning now with him at 27 years old, and the problem is the last 2 postseason runs we've had, 5 points in 19 games isn't what I have in mind for someone of his caliber. You look back, 6 points in 7 games, 19 points in 16 games the last time we went to the conference final. He's shown glimpses in the past. There was a chance, and I know putting him on the fourth line might not give him the most of an opportunity to get back into the good graces here and allow him to earn a spot on this team. But hey, Drake Batherson's able to put up points on the fourth line. What's his excuse? You have Josh Norris as well, just 4 points in 10 games on an expiring contract. He'll be an RFA. And again, it's just not quite where we've wanted it to be, and he's had some good opportunities. As a third-line center, maybe you hang on to him. But in terms of him taking that step up into a top 6 role, I just don't think it's going to happen. He was really good last year in the playoffs. This year he's been okay. But obviously, he's being outperformed by a lot of people. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. And then Tyson Jost, very, very good regular season on the 4th line with 28 points. But then you look here in the playoffs, and there just hasn't been much there. And you look at his postseason numbers in the past, he has not been a playoff performer. Aside from season 1 with Colorado, when they went to the Cup final, I don't know if they won that or not. I don't remember. So that 4th line, very, very talented 4th line. We'll see whether or not they can get the job done. Bernard Docker's been really good, playing him as a defensive defenseman next to Eric Brandstrom, Mackenzie Weegar, and Thomas Chabot, still that second pairing. Lassie Thompson has been changed to a 2-way because as an offensive defenseman, he wasn't putting up points. So I'm trying to get Shea Theodore into a more offensive role with him being a 2-way as opposed to a defensive defenseman. And perhaps the biggest reason as to why we beat the Tampa Bay Lightning, Darcy Kemper has been incredible overall. He's had a couple of bad games, but for the most part, he has been fantastic. And we'll see if he can continue to perform at that high of a level. It's tough to bank on that, but we'll see what happens. So with that said, Carolina, what do the Hurricanes look like at this stage? We start off with Teuvo Teravainen, very impressive numbers, Eric Haula, and Andrei Svechnikov. That top line's been fantastic. A second line of Anthony Duclair. That's still a sore subject. I wish he was still on this team. Ryan Suzuki, who's been phenomenal. And Brett Connolly, who's been great for them too. That top 6 is doing really well. Really well. Third line of Jan Mysak. Or Mysak, I think it's Mysak, if I'm not mistaken. Vinny Hinostroza and Nick Ritchie. So, yep, that look on Ritchie's face is the look on my face when I see Ritchie's stat line there. That third line's been pretty rough. And a fourth line of Vinny Trocheck, who's only played 2 games, Jonathan Taves, and Stelio Mateos. I mean, they have Jonathan Taves on the 4th line, so I can't really hate on the 4th line. Defensively, it is Slavin and Dougie Hamilton, Sammy Vatanen and Brett Pesce, Jake Bean, and Simon Nemec. I think it's Nemec. Simon Nemec. Whatever. The goaltender is Peter Kochkov, who hasn't been great, and Eetu Makiniemi, who hasn't been great. So go figure, the Hurricanes are still having some goaltending issues. Healthy scratches of Morgan Geekie and Jack Drury. Injuries to Sebastian Aho and Martin Necas. Imagine how much more impressive this team looks with Aho and Necas in it forward. Holy hell. We need to see how long they're out for. It's a good lineup as it is. It's an incredible lineup with those two actually healthy. So we might potentially dodge a bullet here, at least in terms of having an easier task. We could still lose this series, no doubt. Necas is out for the majority of this series. Aho will not be back. Aho only comes back in the Cup final. This is our series to lose. They still have a really good team, but no doubt this is our series to lose at this point. We have the advantage in every aspect, except they were the better regular season team. Let's see what happens. Can't believe it, though. Our defense is even listed as better, which is saying something because they have a pretty competent defense. Let's get it going. Let's get it started. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final. We are back again, but can we make the most of it? Let's find out. First period, good start. Drake Batherson. Love to see him benefit from that higher ice time. Second period, Carolina takes the lead. Teravainen and Connolly. So down by 1. Power play chance early is wasted. Power play chance for Carolina. Colin White scores shorthanded. Okay, that helps a ton. Jesus. That helps a lot. Way to go, Colin. Again, we need you to step up. It's a good job. Next goal could win this game. 6.5 to go. Are we going to be able to win this one? Please, are we going to overtime? We are going to overtime in game 1. It's a really close game in terms of the shots. Tied on the scoreboard. Let's see what happens here, shall we? Who is going to win it? And Carolina's going to win it. It was Duclair, wasn't it? I accidentally double-tapped. Anthony Duclair wins it. in overtime for the Carolina Hurricanes. Someone who, again, I wanted to keep. And unfortunately, he comes back to haunt us. Mark Borowiecki lost heralded ice time. Speaking of which, Mark Borowiecki will not be an Ottawa Senator next year, IRL. So, you know, for those of you who are like, you gotta keep him, there's no way Melnick's letting go of him. Yeah, about that. He's apparently not going back to Ottawa, which is ridiculous. We're going to jump into game 2. I'm not going to change anything about the lines. We just lost a close competitive game. No shame in that. First period, start off strong again. Shea Theodore with the opening goal. Second period, this time we at least hold on to a power play goal for Logan Brown. Duclair with one of his own. Still, we're in a good spot here, but I'm nervous. We need insurance goals. We really, really do need insurance goals here. It would be incredibly welcome. Please, please, please. Maybe. Possibly. Insurance. Please. Possibly. Potentially. How long is this power play? Are you kidding me? 1 minute to go. Thank God. Who needs an insurance goal when you have a lights-out goaltender like Darcy Kemper? Kochkov had a great game. Kemper, that much better. Logan Brown gets the winner. Logan Brown gets the winner. And we have tied this series up at 1 game apiece, but Pilar goes down. Pilar goes down to injury, which could slightly complicate things in this lineup because that means Alex Formenton is going to have to be called upon, which means I think it probably should be Norris, but Colin White has a goal so far in this series, so Colin White's going to get the opportunity there on that particular line. Better face-off rating than Batherson, and Alex Formenton will draw in on the 4th line, so another opportunity for him. No real guarantees to see how this one goes, right? So let's see what we can do here, shall we? Go to game 3 and hope for the best. Let's do this, shall we? Let's do this. First period, scoreless for the very first time. Second period, not scoreless. A goal apiece. Brady Tkachuk and Jan Mizak. We are tied at 1. Good to see Brady getting on the board. They have 10 more shots than we do at this stage, though. And Duclair scores on the power play. You knew Anthony Duclair was going to be a problem for us, didn't you? At least I did. It was far, far too obvious. We need a goal here, though. We're really struggling to put up goals in this series. We've yet to have that offensive explosion that you might expect this team to be capable of. And because of that, we are going to be down 2-1 in this series. Darcy Kemper, a great game, but it's wasted by a severe lack of offense because we can't beat an 81 overall goaltender for more than 2 goals against per game. It's been a very defensive series so far. Oh, man. All right. We need to we need to look at things and consider potential changes. So Jost right now, he's been fine. Norris has been better. I'd still consider Norris better than Formenton. Pacioretty has been incredibly solid. Again, Colin White, not so much. I was hoping for something a little bit better than what we saw in that last game. Batherson. Honestly, pretty happy. Pretty happy with that. I'd rate him higher than Pacioretty. Taylor Hall is an interesting one because he's still almost a point per game. Logan Brown. I mean, I'd probably still rate Logan Brown ahead of Batherson here, too. Yeah, I think I'm going to have Taylor Hall as like our top option no matter what. Brady Tkachuk right now, I'd probably put on the same level as a Pacioretty. I hate to say it, but I think Batherson and Brown have both outperformed Brady Tkachuk in this postseason so far. As crazy as that is. Let's move Hall up here. So again, Brown I have slightly higher rated than Batherson. at this point, literally off of one goal. And then for Tkachuk, I'll still have him ahead of Logan Brown. Nico. Let's see here. I mean, I'd probably have Nico on the same level as Batherson. I think Logan Brown's been slightly more impressive. We'll have Nico ahead of Batherson. And then it's Pinto, who's been our best performer. So Pinto can play center, and he will, alongside Matthew Tkachuk and Taylor Hall. I'm not going to worry about chemistry because clearly it doesn't matter all that much. We're going to go with Nico and Brown alongside Batherson. And then it'll be Norris with Pacioretty and Brady Tkachuk. Colin White with Jost and Formanton. And I'll put Formanton there. So that's going to be the new forward group because we are just desperate to try and get something going offensively here. Like I said, we haven't scored more than 2 goals for in one of these games so far. And we're just not going to... It's not where we want to be. With these extremely close games where it's just, okay, it's 50-50, and which way is this going to go? First period of Game 4, not a great start. Taves and Vatanen for the Hurricanes. Taylor Hall gets a goal for us, but if this scoreline's anything to go off of, we just lost, if the series lives up to what it's been. Second period, goal apiece, Norris and Taves. So we're going to need at least 2. We're going to have to score a third goal, and there it is, Logan Brown. So for the first time in the series, we score at least 3 goals in a game as Dougie Hamilton makes it 4-3. So the offense is picking up, and now the defense is falling apart. Jesus Christ. The Carolina Hurricanes are 1 win away from the Stanley Cup final. Wow. We finally score a third goal, but at what cost? The defense completely falls apart. And in less than 2 minutes, we allow 3 goals. Nick Ritchie, Dougie Hamilton, and Jonathan Taves. 3 very interesting players to look at if you're a Bruins fan. We were so close yet so far on a magical run just a few years ago. And now here we are. Looking like we're going to fall short yet again. I mean, this is Darcy Kemper's last hurrah anyway, so we're gonna see how it goes down. That Thompson, Theodore, Lassie Thompson. Now, I've talked about this. How we might not bring back Mackenzie Weegar because that's Lassie Thompson's money. I don't think that's Lassie Thompson's money anymore. You look at him in the playoffs the last 2 times he's been here. I'm not impressed. So there's a very good chance Lassie Thompson's not going to be a Sen next year if he's looking for more money than I deem that he's worth. Because I got to be honest, he's getting scratched in this game. And Mark Borowiecki is going to be brought in. He has a 2-year deal from me. He's going to be brought in alongside Shea Theodore just to try something different. And then forward-wise, I mean, that fourth line's been a complete non-factor in this series. Let's just go for it at this point. If the Hurricanes are a better team, even without Sebastian Aho, then so be it. We need to win 3 in a row. 1 game at a time. It starts here. First period, it's a good start. Shane Pinto on the power play and Nico Hischier. Second period, we had another one. Jacob Bernard-Docker, so the defense finally getting involved. We go to the third, up by 3. Let's see what we can do here. 10 minutes to go. Batherson makes it 4. Oh my goodness. We quick sim the rest where Josh Norris adds 2 more. And the Sens aren't done yet. 6-0 your final score. Had a feeling I made the right decision to start Kemper. Thankfully that paid off. A much better performance. A almost too little too late performance from the Sens here. It's at least nice to see that we've stayed alive for 1 more game. Edmonton up 3-2 on Vegas, so that dream final, the Lafreniere Bowl, hanging on by a thread at this point. We head to Game 6, same team. Let's see what we can do. Sebastian Aho's in the lineup. Wasn't supposed to be fully healthy for another week. He's back now. and he scores a minute and 8 seconds into the game. Second period, or we'll send to the second period. That was the only goal. We'll send the second period now, and the Carolina Hurricanes are advancing to the Stanley Cup Final. We force Game 6, and it looks like we're just going to completely blow it. Pinto gets us to within 2. Is there another goal that can be had here? We can't stay out of penalty trouble right now. Halfway through the third, Hurricanes are going to win this. They are definitely going to win this. 5 minutes to go. That's it. Sebastian Aho saves the day and wins it for the Carolina Hurricanes. The Sens fall short. It is an 0-6 rematch. The Sens fall short of making the Cup for the second time, the Cup final, and our second, for the second time in our tenure here. And we knew we were due for an interesting offseason. We're perhaps due for an even more interesting offseason, as some players who we thought might be on the way out may have just saved their job, and some other players who we, were thinking weren't on the way out might, in fact, be on the way out after all. Frustrating, though. Darcy Kemper, your time in Ottawa is done. I thank you for your service. You gave it one hell of an effort. It's not your fault we lost. But we are done with him one way or another. The Wallstedt era begins in the next episode. But what the hell is the rest of this team going to look like?